We're all set? All set, John?
Bob, she's going to read an essay. Do you want her to read it here? This mic?
Yeah.
Facing the camera? When she reads it.
You won't be able to see her, that's all.
Huh?
You
No,
won't
she
be-
looks
She's
that
going to
way.
be facing that way, Bob.
She'll face that way.
Yeah, she'll face that way. She'll stand here. Face this way.
Okay, I think
Yeah.
that would work.
Okay.
Standing in front of the podium, that should work.
I'll hold it.
Pledge.
I'm gonna stand here.
We'll do the pledge first, though.
Yeah, and I'm just set the scene.
Okay. Open the meeting at 6:10. The first thing we'll do the pledge. And you young ladies, please give us your name.
I'm Brooklyn. I'm Anna.
Last names?
Ewald. Deal.
Spell the first one. Ewald, did you say? How do you spell that?
Ewald.
And what was the second name? I'm sorry.
Deal.
What was your first name?
Anna.
Is it D-I-E-L?
No, Deal.
Oh, sorry. I was totally wrong. Thank you.
All right.
Pledge.
Go ahead.
They can get closer.
You can get close if you
I
like.
pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Excellent. Yeah, while Brooklyn is up here, I would like to present you with your award. Did you want to show them what you did?
She made the
Fantastic. Congratulations.
I really like that.
Very, 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 very well. Well, it looks very good. Also, we have Judah Cisneros. Please come forth. Congratulations. Fantastic job. Would you like to show them what you did?
Is it on that?
Things on them.
Sure.
I drew a ram for our school presentation.
Okay, thank you. Very, 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 very good. Thank you so much. Thank you.
And we also
Thank you.
have Anna Deal here tonight, who was a winner for the PTA Reflection. She was third place in literature for the intermediate level. So she has her essay, which is Feeding Our Community, it's called, and she's going to read it for you.
All heroes are important, especially people who feed hungry people. Some are homeless. I am part of a team who serves full meals for free. First, we set up 9 tables with 7 chairs at each table. Then we set up a table with the jugs of drinks. The drinks are milk, water, coffee, and sometimes cider. For dessert, we give them oranges, bananas, and other things with healthy sugars. At 4:30, the doors open and people start rushing in to get their meal. Even elderly people come too. Our group is important because people would be hungry or thirsty. When I look at them, they are smiling or joyfully eating their food. I feel really happy when I serve people who need food. Other heroes in our community are policemen, firefighters, veterinarians, and wildlife rescuers. Also, ambulance people too. All of these people are people who serve our community.
Before we get started on the regular business, I would like to welcome Melissa Brown back for her re-election. And congratulations. Emily, ma'am, for your welcome to the board. Yeah, you kids can go if you like.
Yeah, you probably don't want to sit through
You
this.
gotta go to school tomorrow, you gotta go to bed.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. Do your
Good job.
Very proud of you all. Thank you so much. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you.
Hey, I don't know if the board wants to say anything, but I want the board and the people to realize I'm extremely disappointed in what happened at the elections. But the people have spoken, and we'll have to do our best to deal with what's happened. Does anybody else have anything to say?
We'll do our best not to give all our money back to the town so they can use it on their free warrant articles. How about that?
Okay, sounds good to me.
Anybody else? Emily, you want to say? You could say something, you know.
I don't think I have a lot to say about that.
Not right now. Okay.
It's nice to see that now that the elections are over, we're back to our normal crowd and all facilitators and people that normally work at the school and no public people, except for one or two or three. Appreciate it. Oh, I see a hand. I see one. Oh, yeah.
Good old Larry.
Okay, we do have a presentation, but I will open it for public comments before we have our presentation. Usually I'm pretty lenient. If you have something to say during the meeting, just raise your hand and make sure I see you and I'll let you talk. Up to a certain length of time, not all night. Okay, we have a presentation by Kelly and Joe, is that correct?
Were we supposed to be giving a presentation? I thought we were in.
No.
Okay.
We had provided you with a package for your review. The most important one goes back to the original spreadsheet that we had talked about. And there were questions that we had to try and understand the current costs for our landlines or our copper lines, whichever you want to refer to them as. So Nathan did some work on that. So if you go down, I don't know, a little bit over halfway on the page, looking at the space there, the current monthly cost for the 15 copper lines is $465. So that's down from $991 that we had originally had.
So that's, you're talking about this form here.
Correct.
Now that's our present system now.
Yep.
So our monthly cost on that is $506.67, and a year it's $30,400 right now.
That would be over 5 years.
Over 5 years? Okay. Now, the next three, my question is, will that be an addition to the $30,000 over 5 years?
If you look at,
No.
yeah.
It's different, right? It's different system.
There is.
Different system.
But is it or isn't it?
The next column,
The yellow and the
right, the
orange.
short tail, I don't have the color, so I just follow
Orange.
the orange. So short tail, okay, and that's basically, we own the equipment, right? So that has the new total for the six copper lines. That was the only thing that would have changed on that, to bring it down to the 45,000 and change,
So we're going to be paying an additional
over 5 years.
$15,000 more over 5 years. Is that right?
Over 5 years.
Okay. Now, keep going.
Mhm.
And then
It
the blue-
has in it the wiring cost, which is the second line in there. And that's required no matter what we would do to move forward, if we were wiring each of the room, which was how this was laid out to me, each of the classrooms and any of the office spaces.
Now, are you talking about the blue one? No, it's still the,
His is black and white, so he can't.
well,
The
I think,
hosted
give him
Mitel.
that copy there, because
The hosted Mitel, the third column.
Yeah, hosted. What about?
Wiring
Go ahead.
line item on the orange, the blue, and the gray. So the wiring would be required no matter what you do, what you do to move to a different sort of phone system, a phone system that's gonna get you 911 compliant.
Well, that I understand, but Mike, so that's gonna cost us probably another $60,000 going with the blue column a year, over a 5-year period. Is that correct?
Correct.
Okay. And then the light blue is only 93, so that would be less.
So what are what lines are the wirings? Is that the copper lines?
The
It's the wiring?
the
I don't see a
wiring
word
is
wiring
the-
on here.
Upfront wiring, the second
Upfront
one.
wiring,
Second
P
one.
top.
switches.
One that says wiring.
Way up, top get
Peg
down.
was up late last
The
night.
second line item down.
From the top on the
System
left.
maintenance per year?
What?
Peg, you're
Are
on
you
the
on the
wrong
wrong page?
Come on, Peg.
What do I need? Oh, that one.
I don't know if I have it. You can have it. Here we go.
Thank you.
Welcome.
I brought this one, and we're talking yellow, orange, blue, and blue, and I'm going, I got those colors.
We have extras.
Thank you, Nathan. Okay, sorry.
Okay, now I think my next question is, we have to choose a system. Are these monthly costs the top-notch systems we have to choose monthly? Do you understand what I'm trying to say?
So the blue and the gray, those are the ones that are going to have the higher monthly cost. Those are cloud-based or hosted.
And they're already there in your monthly cost.
The monthly costs are there, correct.
So that'd be the 17 or the 1,500.
I don't have the same one that, but yeah, 17 and 15, you're correct with that, the monthly total. The short-held PRI system, that would be a phone system that is premise-based here, so once you buy it, you own it. So it's a larger upfront cost for the equipment, but your monthly cost after that is significantly less. So overall, you would spend less money once you purchase the system up front.
Are you talking about the light blue?
I'm talking about the orange now.
The orange,
That's
okay.
the only one where you would have a larger upfront purchase, but your monthly costs would go down.
No, if we went with that system, what exactly does it do for me?
So the biggest reason you're looking at this is to be 911 compliant, correct? So if you go with this system and get something called a PRI that allows all of the schools to have direct dial numbers. So if somebody picks up the phone in a classroom and dials 911, it can be traced directly to the classroom. So not just to the address.
Now, in these two proposals, is both for MES, Newt, and the SAU? Or is it just for
They
two
are, right?
No. They're for MES and Newt.
only?
Because the Damon House already has a system in it that's hosted, but once the hosted contract is up, okay, then that could be tied into the Newt phone system, if that's what you're supposed to do, right, architecturally?
Yeah,
Right?
and you
Yeah.
already have the phones.
Yeah.
'Cause it's
You already have the
system.
So the SAU's okay right now. Anybody else have any questions?
With the purchase of the phones, what type of warranty comes with those? As opposed to if we're renting them and something breaks down, we would call for a new replacement, but what if we own them? What's the warranty or?
I'll have to double check, so I typically, especially for schools, I typically don't put, so we put support on the hardware that's in the closet and licenses and help desk support and all of that. I typically don't add support for the phones just because it adds a lot of cost to the yearly maintenance. And it's cheaper, the phones very rarely break, so it's cheaper to buy a couple extra phones, put them on the shelf and kind of self-insure those.
For the initial 12 months, the phone would have a warranty.
So how many different numbers would we have in the building? Or just one number, telephone number?
So you would still keep all of the numbers that you have published, but you would have
In the main office?
You would order direct dial numbers that you wouldn't have to publish anywhere, but if you picked up the phone and dialed 911, that's what the PSAP would say.
So please would know right where to go.
So every room would have a number, basically.
Every room would have a number.
But it's not a published number. You still call 4591, whatever, to get into the school, but you don't call the
So
direct
that would,
number.
yeah, okay.
A lot of questions.
I have a question. Would it have a voicemail capability and like would be able to forward it to, like if there's a teacher that has time to speak to a parent, can we forward the call from the office there and or if they're in class, forward it to their phone and we leave a voicemail.
Absolutely. So what we typically recommend is is keeping the extension and voicemail kind of separate, because you don't want anybody ever trying to call into a classroom while a teacher's teaching, right? So, you know, you can have a teacher with an extension for their classroom, but a separate extension to dial into voicemail. So if they want to check their voicemail, they would just log into voicemail with their voicemail extension and password in order to check it that way.
Okay.
So that kind of locks down the classroom's
Yeah,
getting
yeah, that-
interrupted.
Wait a minute, Peg.
I'm sorry.
Al, and then you.
If the teacher were to call a parent from that line in the classroom and it showed up on the parent's caller ID, would that number display, or would it be the school's phone number?
So to make any calls except for 911 calls, we would have it outpost that school's number.
No, Peg, I'm sorry.
All right, back to the voicemail. So if I wanted to leave a teacher a message or leave a message for a teacher, I would call the main number and it's going to give me instructions to do something, and I'm going to say, okay, I want, you know, Mrs. Jones.
Yep.
And then when it's time for Mrs. Jones to retrieve her messages, she dials into something and, okay, all right.
Yep.
Okay.
She can
And
get,
office
she can
staff
get
could
an email notification with the wait time on it if she chose
Right.
to, or just a notification letting her know she has a voicemail, so she'll know to go and check the voicemail.
Okay, thank you.
So I was saying, and office staff could transfer to that. You know, if they call and say, I'd like to speak to the librarian, I don't know who it is, we could transfer it into the
Yes.
librarian's line.
And the office staff can transfer to these, the classroom phones
Yes.
per their discretion, obviously, right? But if somebody calls in and hits an auto attendant of some sort and wants to dial a teacher by name, it's not going to ring it to their classroom.
Okay, great.
The way I would recommend setting it
Yeah.
up. If you wanted to do it that way, you certainly could, but
No.
I don't think so.
Thank you anyway.
So if we went by the orange, which you don't have, it would be over the 5-year period, it'd be another about $82,000 more for the 60 months.
Right, yeah, the monthly cost will go up because you do need to have the phone numbers for all the classrooms. So in addition to having the, you know, the upfront cost, you would be paying more in your monthly phone bills.
Yeah, if anybody's wondering what I'm doing math here with my, anybody else have any questions?
Yep.
Go
The
ahead, Pep.
copper lines, the 6 total, that's a one-time charge, yes? No, for
No,
186?
that's monthly.
That's what we pay now.
Okay, it's,
That's paid to our phone company.
Yeah.
Well, I think you pay a little, I think you have a little more than that now, right? Because you have copper lines for faxes, elevators, alarms, all of that.
Yeah.
Plus you have copper lines for your phone system.
Yeah.
So I think you're a little bit more than the 6. I think you're at 15 lines right now.
At a minimum, we need 6.
But you would move to 6 for elevator, alarm, keep copper lines for those, but then put all of the phone numbers on the PRI.
Yeah.
So does it, wait a minute, okay, go ahead. Let me check
If
this.
a classroom calls 911, would it alert to the main office?
So there is an additional application if you wanted that, so that is an additional cost. So with the orange solution, if you wanted this alert for up to 5 people, it's an additional like $2,000.
A year?
Nope, just the upfront cost.
My concern would be having a 911 call go out, having the
Yeah.
police show up at the
Nobody
front,
knows about it.
and the main office not knowing that the call was made. I think that could cause a lot of problems.
Somebody else had their hand up back there? No, I thought you did, okay.
Hard to think about.
Yeah, it is. Well, now that we got the default budget, I don't know. We'd have to.
yeah.
So the orange is the one that's got everything. You want to be clear about this.
That's when we buy everything up front.
We buy everything. Okay, I'm gonna write my notes.
You still have the hand or two up.
The other two are rented.
Go ahead, Al.
Brands.
Is this something that could be funded by, is there some form of grant that you currently have that could help pay for part of this? Which between technology, or is there?
We have a state money.
Yeah.
Yeah, we applied for state grant money, and it would be $65,000, I believe, dollars-ish. I don't have a chart right in front of me. We only have to pay 20% of it.
Just something to keep in mind as we make the decision about the safety of our kids.
But I think whatever we do need that.
So we
need
work
the 911
with a lot of
alert
schools in New Hampshire, and even though it's not mandatory quite yet, a lot of the larger schools, it is mandatory to go with this type of 911 system where it goes all the way down to the classroom. So I believe it's going to be at some point. So it'd be nice to be ahead of the game, especially if you guys can get that grant money now. And when they make it mandatory, a lot more people are going to be applying for it, right?
Yeah, we had town elections yesterday, and the town pretty much vetoed everything the school asked for, so I think that's kind of a gray cloud over the room.
Did your hand up, Larry?
Yeah, I'll put my hand up. I think Paul put his usually excellent finger on it. In the anticipated return to the general fund, which was, I think, down to $160,000 in this year, if you reduce that by the cost of protection for the students, the only thing I haven't heard discussed is a warning light that identifies the calling room from the outside for the benefit of first responders.
But I think we have a plan, everything is marked, so our first responders know.
No, the 911 call goes in.
Mm-hmm.
It comes from room number 7. It's identified as room number 7 on the outside placard. A flashing light for the benefit of first responders. Icing on the cake, perhaps.
Except the cost.
No, I want to make clear to Alan, what you need to know. We got the money to pay to install the system, okay? That's not the issue. We get the 80%, we got the grant, we got to pay the 20%. What we're dealing with is the amount on the bottom, and that the cost is the difference between each month for the system on the bottom of the page. Right now we're spending $506. If we go with the orange plan, we're going to be spending $751 a month. If we go to the dark blue, we're spending $1736. And if we go to the light blue, we're spending $1566. So that's all beyond the grant. That's going to be a monthly expense we're going to have to pay out of our pockets. So, go ahead.
No matter what we go with, I strongly believe that we need the notification to the office. Even though if it's an extra cost, I just can't see having a 911 call and the administration not knowing that it was called.
You're right, I agree with you. And about anybody else, I agree with you.
We'll list the numbers accordingly and send it over to Bob.
The only problem, like I'm going to say, we got, I don't know where we're going to get the money.
Earl has a question.
Who does, Earl? Oh, go ahead.
Yeah, I think the elephant in the room is what Paul succinctly said and Larry tried to reiterate. Maybe you would like, without the specifics of the compendium of information regarding this whole discussion of this, point out the $180,000 that you spoke about, Larry, in terms of the return of the funds. I think you hit on an important thing. I think that I was going to mention this in my report, but I think what has gone unnoticed, because the way that New Hampshire is the school and the town are combined. So all of the money, all of the work that the staff has done, that the administration has done, that the school board has done, in scrutinizing all the expenditures, at least in the time I've been here, the last 2 or 3 years, and working within the constraints and doing more with less, all went for naught, because what was a positive, what was an appreciation and an understanding that you were trying to relieve the burden of taxation, I don't think was fully understood or considered in terms of what the school district returned. I think Paul had a very succinct way at the beginning of it. Where it goes or what it does is not as inconsequential to the appreciation, just like students do work and recite the fact that the work was done and they were successful in the work. So, although the elephant in the room and the gray cloud exists, somehow through that should be the awareness of what the people have done. And the fact that the return of the monies is not that we had too much, is that we did more with less and made some significant things as people moved and staff was reduced. So now we're looking at situations where early interventions are needed and kindergarten classes have upwards of 20 kids in them. So 24 kids in them. So if there's this perception that there are these small class sizes throughout, that is not necessarily the case. But so we're working around in a little fish tank here, trying to figure out how to keep students safe, how to do those types of things. And I think that there should be an awareness on the part of the community of the work being done, again, by the staff, by the administration, and by the school board.
I have a question for Nate. Now, make sure I'm wrong or right. That E-rate that we're getting back, does that come from the phone system or the electricity?
Communications.
Would that be the telephones?
Telephones, portion of it, yeah.
Now, if we go with this
Internet
system, would we
service
still get
mostly.
the E-rate back?
I'm sorry?
If we go with this new system, would we get the E-rate back every
We'll
year?
still get it, yeah.
So this last time we just got back, and what was it, 35?
32.
I can tell you exact, actually.
Go ahead, I'll let you, because you got it right. Thought it was 35,000.
It was $32,371.56.
That we will not be given back this year, next year. Is that right?
I'm hoping to have it before the end of the fiscal year.
So, yeah. But people need to realize we gave back $365,000. Now, all of that money did not come out of the operating budget at the end of the year. A lot of that is unexpected revenue that comes in, and that's where the majority of that came. 160 of that money was 2 years ago from the SAU when we split up. So that was money that was left over. If you get back less than 2% at the end of the year you have left over, you've done a good job on your budget. And I want the people to realize these budgets are not packed with endless money in them. So, anybody else have
You have a
anything?
hand.
Sorry, go ahead, Al.
I just want to clarify the reason I brought up the grant is because we're talking numbers right now and the grant wasn't mentioned, and I think that's great that we have applied for it and we got that grant ahead of time before we looked to spend money. That's why I wanted to bring light, because I know some.
Well, I mean, that
people
question's a
want
good question. I'm glad you asked it. Now that people know.
And also, too, that's very correct. In fact, all of these grants, and you add up the amount of grants that have been brought in from all of the work of the group has done, the staff has done, and the administration has done, it's unreal. So, without those, some of the things we've done couldn't occur.
Oh, yeah, I know. Peg, moving on after Peg.
Okay, I just have a really quick question. The $65,000 grant, is that just for the telephone system or, okay, because I know that there were
There's other ones, but.
a whole list
like
of
7 or
things,
8
yeah,
of them, yeah.
okay, thank you.
Good, Bob.
Was that a no?
The grant
Yeah.
is for more than that.
I just remember all these different things, and that's why I wanted to ask if the 65 was just for
We
going
gave
with
the
this.
chart,
so-
Bob. We can,
Yeah, the 65,968.80 is the state portion if we spend the full amount that we had requested.
Okay, thank you.
Moving on to minutes for,
These guys got
I'm sorry?
no question.
No, I don't.
Does anybody have questions? Anybody?
Anybody?
Okay.
Going twice.
Okay, thank you very much, Kelly and Joe.
So just a couple things we'll have to adjust a little bit up and down for, we'll get there someday.
Don't forget your purse.
I don't think
Oh, I know you were eyeing that purse.
Your money.
I know, right?
Money.
So, that extra revenue we give back to the town, is that great?
No.
Thank
Thank
you folks
you.
very well. Thank you.
No, we're spending on what we
You
grant us for.
folks will come back at 8 for the report? No.
Too much fun.
Okay,
But thank you. Have a good.
public
Thank
session
you.
meeting minutes for Wednesday, February the 9th. Did anybody?
I will make a motion to approve the public minutes of February 9th with the corrections that have been sent to Tammy.
I'll second.
Anybody else?
Aye.
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 Okay.
I'm glad you guys sat on the opposite sides today.
Non-public session minutes,
I'll make a motion.
February 9th, I'm sorry.
Oh, that's okay. I'll make a motion to approve the non-public session meeting minutes of February 9th with corrections that have been sent to Tammy.
I'll second.
Oh, okay. Melissa, you're slipping.
Aye.
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 February 13th, public session meeting minutes.
I will make a motion to approve the Wednesday, February 13th public session meeting minutes with corrections sent to Tammy.
Can you do it?
Aye.
She seconded.
Oh, that's second.
Melissa seconded?
Sure.
I knew there was a problem.
I wanted to throw you a curve.
Yeah,
Yep.
you did. Aye.
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 So we're all set on that one. February 13th, non-public minutes.
I'll make a motion to approve the Wednesday, February 13th non-public minutes with corrections sent to Tammy.
I'll second. You messed it up. I'm gonna
I know.
second.
Aye.
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 Okay, all set on those. Monthly expense report for the latest one. I think we're
About
doing.
this, number 4.
Did I skip something?
Yep.
Oh, we already talked.
He already talked, he's talked out?
That's it, he's
Couple
talked
more
out.
things.
He has a couple more things. Let's let the
A
man
couple
speak.
more things.
Yeah, go ahead.
A couple of other points I wanted to hit upon, although I hit upon those points in the report, is in the calculation of the default. We had talked about it a number of times, but I just want to bring that into bold form. There was great pains done on behalf of the school board and the administration. Nate Peg Hurd and Doug Shute went to a bunch of workshops, and then we came back. We called the School Boards Association, called the school law firm, and everything that could, if there was a question on whether could it be in the default or not, we did not put it in the default. So many districts, and I'm not trying to point out or have the default, have them look into those schools, but the point being is we gave a real default. And a lot of districts had their default budgets above the budget that the school gave. So in many ways, the appreciation, I just got to point out that it should be noted that the return of the monies, as we've well talked about, in the true representation of what the default is to the fault that if we erred on the point of non-putting it in there. So in effect, it's almost like, okay, we did everything we could to put the district and the students and everybody in good stead. And I hope that come next year people understand that these are factors that should be put in there. And two, I've talked about this before, but I feel very bad that in the staff one that did not pass. I just think that people go to school, they train, they're in a career, and you have 10 years of experience in a certain school, and you're on that step. You're on the 10th. And here, when this occurs, the people that are teaching here work so very hard, they don't get a step increase. People think that, okay, if the contract does not pass, they automatically get a step increase. They don't get a step increase. So therefore, year after year after year, this goes on, or over the course of years. So I'm in my career, and I'm in the 12th step, but I'm here at this school district, and I'm paid on the 6th step or the 8th step. I'm just giving an example, throwing it out there. I'm sorry.
I'd like to add to what you're saying that not only is there not a pay increase, but the cost of living still goes up, and the cost of insurance still gets taken out, whether we're making more or not. The amount being taken out is increased.
I'm
So
sorry,
we're
what's
actually
your name?
making less. Corey.
So, thank you. So I'm just pointing that out because the role of an administration and a school board and administration is to attract and maintain, and I pointed this out when we met, is to attract and maintain the best staff that you can. So I just think that that is something that people should take into consideration as well. And to point out some of the altruistic things done beyond the school, I could go, the list would go on and on. But Mrs. West came in and asked me about the homeless. In like a very short time, the admin team and the guidance department met with her, and a lot is being done now for the homeless. You've been seeing it. She's been in the schools and over at MES. We have Erica works with Ms. West and Lisa up at the high school, middle high school. So there's extraordinarily work being done on the part of not only the homeless, but the poor as well. So we're doing as much as we can for them, and people aren't aware of it, but like 6% of the students that attend MES in Newt, 6% are deemed homeless. Now, how many more students are on free and reduced lunch? And our staff goes that mile beyond the scope of the responsibilities. So that's just one small example of being caring about the students that you have. So I'd like to commend them and commend the others as well. Okay, thank you. I'm sorry I took more time. Sir? I'm done.
No, you gave a figure and it cost them all my calculators.
You did it.
If I can just add, because I was going to talk about Nancy West and the homeless. She created a village of just people within the town, and I happen to be on the list, just for donations. And she and I actually had a nice lunch and went shopping the other day and bought all sorts of stuff, and she's dropping things off Monday, I think she said. So I know, and people are just donating. So I think the fact that she contacted me first and said, what is the homeless population? I'm like, well, I don't know. And I put her in touch with Earl, and she said the meeting was just phenomenal. So I can say thank you because I'm now involved to the people who met with her. So things will be coming in on Monday. And anyway, so thank you all for calling the meeting.
Somebody had a hand up?
I did. And to our teachers, I'm sorry that we can't give you a cost of living. It's sad that we now have our working poor that continue to work hard and get poorer every day. And for that, I apologize on behalf of Milton.
Yes. Ditto.
Okay. Ditto. Okay. Make sure. And moving on, now I'm going to go to financials. We are looking good.
Come on, the red.
We in the red? Okay, I don't see
My
any.
red.
At this point, I don't foresee any problem. I'm sure. Oh, you got your red there? Okay, all right.
Yeah, me and my red.
Oh boy.
And my questions.
One page at least.
Do you have one?
Okay.
Yeah, I have one. Yeah.
Okay.
One page.
It's just one page.
Yes.
Well, it goes on the back.
Yeah, I know, it's great.
Yeah, still.
Okay, my questions, and then obviously Nate's answers. I just wanted to know that all lines are now encumbered, which he said yes, that he's aware of.
Can I ask a question? Does that mean even the stipends?
Depends on the stipend itself. So athletic stipends I found are a roundabout way to encumber them. If there's no position yet that's filled, it's not encumbered. And then hourly, for example, after school, I cannot encumber.
Okay, all right.
So that'll be it.
Go ahead, Peg. Sorry.
All right, so the first one was on page 1, the substitute, long-term substitute at the middle school. I just wanted to know, because it keeps going up, but that is through the end of the year.
And
Yes, sir?
that's another position I can't encumber either.
Right. So that's just going to keep going up.
Yeah.
And then I wondered why summer school had an increase this month, since I don't think it's summer. And maybe it's summer somewhere, I don't know. But anyway, Nate basically said that he's been looking through every single line, so some wages were incorrectly allotted to regular summer school, so the difference between the two is 0. And then it was the middle school guidance secretary. There were 3 lines that were all increased, and it's unencumbered and then re-encumbered. Anyway, net difference is still 0, but you know me, I look at all the differences.
I fixed that too, by the way.
Thank you. I know you're good. I mean, I find these things and Nate's like, oh, okay. The auditor, they did have to do a little extra work because of the GASB 75, the OPEB calculations, whatever those are, but are done every 3 years. So that was up. Transportation replacement was up, and that was for the cost of getting our own frequency for the bus radios and work done to set them up. And then my question on the workers' comp and unemployment about the rebates, and there were no current period charges. So we're going to be seeing the savings. Had already paid the bill, so that'll be nothing anymore. So thank you, Nate, for those answers to questions. So I don't know if anybody else had any questions on them, but
I don't know.
Everybody satisfied?
Bob, maybe you can find out for me. I want to make sure that the situation with the radios, that they're all working.
What are you talking about?
We paid for the radio frequency so every bus could be contacted by a radio.
That wouldn't be Bob.
that wouldn't be Bob, though.
That's why
Alright.
I'm confused.
Okay.
I'm sorry.
All right.
They
Well, as you
can't-
remember, we did that, and I was fighting because most of it had to do with the mills not having a frequency. Well, that's not the case. There's a bus here in Milton that does not have a frequency. there was a child missing for an hour and a half and we couldn't reach the bus. And I will say, the bus driver did wonderful. She did not answer her phone like she's not supposed to, which was great. But in the meantime, you had a parent that was down in Hampton that couldn't find her child. I was going all over, and Kathy was trying to make the call. So this has been going on since last year, and you know I've been fighting on it, and it's usually the mills, but this is local, and I want to make sure it's done. No parent should have to go through that again.
Yeah, but I think we got some dead spots, don't we?
The whole radio on the bus didn't work.
I'll look into it.
Tim is
It was
pursuing
fixed
it.
over the vacation.
And you could,
It was supposed to be, and I want to make sure it is.
yeah, Tim said that he had it under control, but we'll report back to
Yeah.
her about it.
But this has been going on for a year with dead,
Well, I mean,
dead
if
spots and
it's a
everything.
broken radio, then that's separate than it going on for a year.
Well, I do
though.
know
mean, if we
the
have
one
bus
in
with a
Milton
broken
Mills was a
radio.
brand new radio, and that was a frequency.
Yeah, and then
So
you fix that.
I do believe this is a separate issue, but
Okay.
I will.
I just want to make sure, because
Yeah. No,
the parent was
absolutely.
out of town and it was awful.
Yep.
So.
All set?
Doug, one of the questions that are answers or whatever that I thought of is that, no, the bus drivers are not supposed to be answering their phones, but if they set their phones to a certain ring that if Kathy calls, that it's a certain ring that, and I mean, I don't know how to do it, but I know people do have certain rings in their phones that, you know, this ring is from Mom, this ring is from Joe, so that if there is an emergency like that, and that ring comes on the cell phone, then they'll know to pick it up. So I don't know if that's something that you can say to Tim, John.
Yeah,
Peg?
I think that's would be
Oh,
a
I'm
safety
sorry.
issue. I'm sorry.
Go ahead.
No, I know. I called on you.
Yeah. I just think that the situation you're talking about, that one radio, it was broken radio. There are some dead spots, and the bus drivers know where the dead spots are. And like Brian on the Celtics bus, it depends where he ends his route. He'll either call in on the radio or he'll call on his phone. Most of them, we are able to get through to people, especially now with the new radios and the new frequencies. We've been able to get through to them. I'd hate to have them start using cell phones.
No, and like I said, I understand that, but
With that-
when I was responsible for another child and that parent is panicking because we can't reach anybody for an hour and a half to locate a child. A parent's worst fear is when you don't know where your child is. And I just don't want to see that have to happen again, however we fix it.
Okay. Is that it? Okay. Monthly revenue report. Any questions?
Expenses, revenues.
Monthly grant reports. Anybody? Peg?
Yes, and the new, on page, what, 5, 6. Page 6 in the new Title I, there's unemployment and workers' comp. I'm wondering, are we going to be paying that? Or do we get a discount on that too? Nate, I don't, you know?
That would be part of what we budget for in the operating budget. It's their
Okay.
portion. So I can tell you that those lines won't get.
Okay,
spent.
all right. Thank you.
Yep.
Okay. Food service operating cost, January 19, 2019, page 39. So how are we doing on that?
Ooh.
What's our deficit?
Right now, it's 25,099.
Yeah.
Okay.
And to put it in perspective, last year at this time, we were down 37,930.
So about
So we are doing better.
12,000. Okay.
And I plan on having them, Cafe Services, come in next month to give a presentation of how things are going.
When do we have to do the revote on that contract? Is it them?
Vendors are walking through next Friday.
Yeah, Friday the 22nd, they have a mandatory walkthrough. The proposals aren't due until the 24th of May.
Okay, all right.
So we have time.
Plenty of time, okay. Everybody okay with that one? Activity statement report on the classes accounts. Any questions? The money left in our, probably Al will want to see this one. As of December 31st, 2018, money left in our reserve funds? If you like a copy, I'll give you one.
We also have January too.
Oh,
With two. December and January should be in there.
oh, see, I didn't realize that.
Oh, the other side.
Other side, okay. Yeah, January 31st, I think it's, so we spent some money.
This is the money that's going out, but this is the balance after that process?
There you go.
So the only money that's gonna be going into one of these is the 60,000 for the building maintenance.
Yep.
It's good we got that, because
Yeah.
we just had another $5,000 expenditure for the heat in the library, so.
Oh, yeah, you can talk about that in a minute.
Yep.
Still going on. Principal report. I think, John, you're up first.
Okay.
I do have a question for you, John.
Yeah.
In your school, who's responsible for discipline?
Everybody.
Who's the main person you go to?
Well, Christy Heichel, usually the assistant
The
principal,
the VP?
would be
That's a designated person?
designated for discipline, oversees the discipline, but we have a PBIS committee that works with teachers, and the teachers have been trained in PBIS and also a responsive classroom. So there it is, and then I do some of the discipline work.
But the main person is Christine Heichel.
Yeah, the main person, if the student needs to be sent to the office, usually it goes to Christy or Christy's discipline.
And I'm going to have the same question for Jan. Who's in charge of discipline at the high school?
I'll do the same answer everybody, but Jen Levitt is the primary.
Jen Levitt?
Yep.
I want that in the minutes, please.
I'm writing as quick as I can.
Okay? Okay, go ahead, John.
All righty.
Can you do it like Dr. Seuss, John?
I did, on a different file down here.
Thank you, Jen.
Okay.
John, can you do it like Dr. Seuss? And
Yeah.
You just came on his
I
week?
did do the rhyme. Oh, too many Dr. Seuss stuff.
They did a whole week of
Anyway,
Dr. Seuss.
we have, our report cards are coming along. The new report cards, the standard-based report card. You have a draft of what it is going to look like. This has the essential outcomes for fourth grade that we've been working on. I have presented the essential outcomes from previous meetings. This gives you an idea of what the format will be. Also, while you're looking at that format, I have this one. We just got this report card. It was a transfer student. It was sent to us from another school who uses Power School, and they're using the same template.
Now, we still doing it quarterly?
Yes.
Okay, all right.
So we still have some work to do on it before it goes out. What the plan is to send out a 4th and 5th grade report card for the third trimester. For third trimester, yeah. Third quarter. For the third quarter, we're going to be sending that out. And then after we send that out to parents for 4th and 5th grade, we're going to have a parent forum and bring in the parents after they've seen the report card and get feedback from them. Also invite other, other grade levels in as well to see it, because the only difference between the lower grade levels will be that it won't have the red letter grade. So pretty much that will be what the elementary report card looks like that you just got. It'll have standards with no letter grades. So some of the work that we still have to do on it is basically adding the logo, the comment bank. We have a comment bank that's been added into the system. We want to increase the legibility, separate the courses, adding some lines and grids like you see in that report card that I gave you as an example. That's a Power School template, so we will use the same template. We get to pick what lines we have or don't have and so forth. So those are the work we have to do. I've been working closely with Power School people and with Josh at Back Bay. Josh is coming in on Friday to finish up. It was just getting the Excel spreadsheet that has to go into the system so teachers can then, it gets uploaded to Gradebook and then they can access it from there. Did you use Power School at Rochester?
No.
Or you have Infinite Campus.
Right.
But it's a lot of the same things, same principles where, you know, you're going to get an assignment. And this report card that you have here, this is a fake report card. So I went in and was able to like create an assignment and then pick the standards that I'm assessing. So these standards will always appear on the report card, but every assignment may not be, that every standard may assess these standards. So I got to pick which standards are being, or essential outcome is being assessed at that time. And they get letter grades, they get number grades, so we had to do conversion tables and so forth. So what it'll do eventually, once it's mastered, it'll take the grades and it'll take the standards and it'll do a traditional grading for 4th and 5th grade only, and then it'll rank the standards. It'll give, it won't be an average, it is going to be the median, right? Median. The median. Because an average will, when you're dealing with 1, 2, 3, and 4, will mess students up. So, because a student can get all 4s and then a 1, and it brings it down. So they're going to look at the median grade. And that's what it'll be put into the system. So I do have staff here today, and there's only one UA right there. The other UAs will be there. Now, UAs, the standards for science and social studies, which you had talked about before, Peg, since they are so vast, what we as a staff have decided that we would do is for social studies, everybody pretty much has the same standards, these 3 standards, because it says it kind of encompasses, well, I don't say it's essential outcomes, will kind of encompass a lot of the standards in social studies and in science. And we will expand those as we come up with, because we don't have a full curriculum for science and social studies right now. So that's why we have, these are the standards that they will be basically graded on. The elementary school standards are a little different, just slightly, but you'll see those before they go out. But this is what we have for 4th and 5th grade. I do have some staff here. I don't know if some staff want to talk about the process and what they've been doing with the report card.
Speak up, don't have to raise your hand, go ahead.
Well, I'm,
Come on up.
so,
Tell us who you are.
I'll speak. Since I'm 4th and 5th grade, I'm actually 4th grade, so we have been looking at changing the report card for years. Because right now, our current report card for 4th and 5th grade really doesn't give an accurate picture of what these kids can really do. It's just one grade for social studies. It doesn't tell you that they can write about history or civics or, you know, the different areas. Same with reading. It's reading. Well, is it comprehension or vocabulary? So we really wanted to make our report card more comprehensive. And so we have spent a lot of time coming up with this report card and coming up with the standards so that parents can see exactly where their kids are and where they're meeting standards or above standards or approaching the standard. It just gives a better picture than a letter grade on a report card, because what does that letter grade really mean? So,
and also the report card that you have there, I think if you could explain the process. If you see the 4th and 5th grade, is that around here somewhere?
This one?
Yeah, but it was the NCR one, yeah.
Oh.
We are still basically, all of the grades for MES, we do not have them electronically stored. They are all handwritten.
Handwritten.
So explain the process, because this is the whole report card for the quarter.
So you start off in
For
the
the
first year and you're pressing really hard because you give the parents the gold copy the first quarter. So you got to really press really hard to get through every copy. Either that or we're photocopying this. So it's really, you know, wasting this because this is really hard to get through. And by the time, you know, you're going through 4 layers, you can't really read the comments. I mean, we're lucky that first quarter is parent conference time, so you can explain what you're reading. And then the next layer gets a little clearer than the next, until you get to the top layer, which is very clear. So, I mean, we've been doing this.
How do we save them?
Oh, save them. We make a copy of them and we put them in the permanent file. To be wherever the permanent file, wherever it is filed by the teacher. So you go into a permanent record and you're having to dig through a lot of work to find the report card. And when, you know, kids move in and kids move out, it's, you know, you're sending something like this, and sometimes it can't be read very clear because of the multiple copies you have. So I think it's, coming up with a report card through Power School is more professional. It looks nicer, I think. It's gonna be able to be transferred because many schools use Power School or some version of electronic. And I think it's gonna be, you know, easier for parents to read. And I think it's gonna give a lot more information than this report card right now. So, and this report card too, it has like effort and conduct under each grade, but it has no like of the school skills, like, you know, are kids responsible? Are they bringing in their homework? Are they, how, you know, their behavior, overall in school, things like that. We have no place on here for those comments.
And I uploaded, well, I think it's uploaded, I'll check with Josh, but we have about 100 comments that in different categories, whether it was work performance or behavior and so forth, that have been uploaded that teachers can access, and it'll be a bank just like that. And there are already comments that are already in there that are provided by Power School.
On top of that,
I'll go ahead and then I gotta go to Al, okay?
on top of the comments that you can add like that, it's also just much easier for the teachers to put an overview of what the class has been working on in that quarter, and it goes to all of the report cards, so you can really just get a lot more information about what all of the grades are reporting on, what the kids have been working on, and having everything in Power School will allow parents to have more access. Once we learn how to use Gradebook and get, you know, perfect that, you'll be able to go in and check your students' grades regularly.
Right.
It's just a whole lot easier, and I think it's a really great thing that we've been working on.
Now, who are you? So,
I'm Courtney.
okay, Courtney, I may not know you. Everybody knows Al and Mary Ann don't, but I don't know. Okay, you want to go, Al? Go ahead.
I just want to point out that with the giant concern of standardized test scores and why the schools are, according to those scores, performing so low, this report card will reflect more accurately to how those test scores show as well. So rather than just, as Marianne pointed out, a reading grade, is it the reading, is it the comprehension, like what level? So standardized testing breaks down those areas, our current report cards don't. So maybe this will help us better prepare our parents and students to be more aware of the areas they need skill in, rather than saying, but my kid's great in reading. Great, but not so much comprehension. So I think moving towards this style report card will help benefit all parties.
And the essential outcomes that are listed here, these are essential outcomes that the staff developed using the Common Core standards. So when we developed these, and I brought that to you earlier, and I can bring that again. It had the essential outcome, and then under each essential outcome, it had all of the Common Core standards that match this essential outcome. So these are basically like the posts of a fence, you know, and the rungs it holds all of them together. So all the Common Core standards are addressed under each of these overarching essential outcomes. Was there any questions about report card? Yes.
No, I like it because it will reflect a well-rounded education, that you're not just teaching them, oh yeah, Tommy knows how to add or multiply 2 times 25. But if Tommy has 2 quarters and he doesn't understand that equals 50 cents, what good is understanding? So I like this to be able to show the well-rounded, that the child can actually utilize the information and use it in everyday living. So I like this a lot. I'm looking forward to it.
Any other questions on report cards? So I don't know if you have to vote or whatever, but I would like to send that out for 4th and 5th grade as a trial. Nothing's permanent, so we're not voting on any final report card until it goes up, probably till over the summer as a final. This will be a pilot that'll go out for 4th and 5th grade and for the 3rd quarter, and then we'll do the other ones for the 4th quarter. And then after that, once I get all the feedback from all the parents, I'll bring that to you, and changes will be made based on the parent feedback. I'll bring it to you over the summer for a final vote.
Do I have a motion? We need a motion in a second.
I'll make a motion.
Second it.
Paul?
Yep.
Any
The 3rd and 4th quarters.
Any more discussion?
Aye.
Okay,
Aye.
Peg?
Aye.
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 So this is ideal in terms of as we perform change and as we prepare our students. So I think this works out excellent.
And I think it really, it's the teachers are owning what they're teaching. I mean, the essential outcomes, they develop them, they own them, they went through the Common Core and they developed it. A lot of help. Thank you. Courtney does a lot of work with our, she works our Title I teacher, Courtney Stevens. She works a lot with our PLC groups and going over these, and was very instrumental in working with us with the report card. So and everybody really did a lot of great work. So thank you so much.
Excellent.
So what I just handed you was an invitation. We are in the middle of I Love to Read month. It is a very exhausting month, but let me tell you, it makes March go like that. I can't believe it's going to be the 50th. March is almost over this week. So we had our first week, kind of did a little differently this year, and I want to thank the staff. You know, after you do something at the third year, I was waiting for them to go away with this I Love to Read month. But no, they came to me and said, we've got every day filled. And I'm like, okay, great. So we have, the first week was really fully Dr. Seuss week. And this week is kind of a more of a low-key week. We have Marty Kelly visiting, which was a great
Marty Kelly's awesome.
I saw the video.
Visit today. And then Friday we have Clifford coming in. And then we do have more, as it goes on, we have Wearing Green and our Hogwarts Day. We are looking forward to our Hogwarts Day. We're going to be wearing costumes and all this stuff. We have all kinds of props for the kids, to those photo props, and we have cutouts, and it's been a lot of fun. The kids have been really enjoying it. And the kids' participation, I have to tell you, it was really, I was very impressed. I had, a dad brought his little girl in, and they were late because he was doing her hair for Crazy Hair Day. And she had green hair. It was Grinch Day. She's the only one I saw, well, the first one I saw with green hair. And I was so excited to see the green hair. And he's like, you see, I told you, green was going to be good. So, I mean, the father was like, took so much ownership in doing his daughter's hair that morning. I was like, it was really exciting. So, and when you get my purple pages, you're still getting those, right?
Yes.
Yes.
Look for the links, if you don't know if you've seen it. Rather than putting a bunch of pictures that take too much for the email, I can't get it up. I put every picture. There were like about 50 pictures this week. There's a slideshow. You can just click on it and it'll bring you right to a slideshow.
Awesome.
Okay, so you see every picture. So there's that. So please feel free, come in, visit us. If you'd like to read to a class, just let us know when you're available and we'll connect you with the class. So last but not least, you see there's a picture. I came in, and of course, Kenny and Mark, and they were all laughing at me because I said, I need this cabinet. It was a cabinet of about 4 shelves, and because I said, our math books are coming in over the break. And it filled the entire hallway. And they're like, you're going to need a bigger shelf. I was like, yep, I guess so. So we got all of our assessments. We have all of the student workbooks for the first year. We have all the teacher workbooks. The teachers now have their teacher manuals. And they have they have leveled readers that are math-based reading instruction that go with this program. So they have that right now. They're not really using it. It's just for them to get familiar with it. We have Redbird. Training is next week. We're going to be setting up further training for My Math, the program itself, and that will be done before the end of the year. So we will be able to hit the ground running come fall on that.
Anybody? Is that it, John?
That was it, I think. Did anybody want to?
I know, we're excited.
Yep.
We're excited.
Go ahead.
We are. We're excited to have this program. One of the when they came in to do a presentation, one of the things that I know for 4th and 5th grade and looking forward and to our report card and things is any of the assessments we can pull from banks and gear them exactly to what we are assessing on the report card, exactly to our essential outcomes and all those standards underneath. We can program the bank to test exactly what we are testing our kids on, and just in general, and it'll match our report card. So to try to find tests out there, it just streamlines everything, and it'll just be all right there for us and really complement the report card, because you will be able to see all those assessments and how they fit into your report card. And that was one of the things that I had asked the people, were we able to do this? And they said yes, so.
And just kind of wrap it up, I'd like to kind of pick back on what Earl was saying about basically the innovation and the hard work that the staff is doing. I know it was kind of disappointing last night on some of the, the Warren articles and so forth, but I have to say, I think we're excited. We're excited for next year because we're going to have a new report card. We have a new math program coming in. We have essential outcomes we've really looked at the standards, and we're going to really be tailoring our instruction to fit the needs of kids. We have more interventions, and the cost to the town. We got a grant for Redbird. It's cost so far the total to create this report card. We had training on Gradebook, which was $1,500. We trained the whole staff, and then another $750 to get kind of a consultant fee from Power School. That was it. And we do not have to pay for these math books until 2021, right? Because next year we're doing, 2021.
Entitled to a grant.
And the math books that we got now, we will have to pay for them, but that's $26,000 for a 6-year supply of math, and that we can even spread that cost out over 3 years, starting this year. Taking some of that, we can start splitting. Just because it is a pilot, and the pilot is a deferred payment, but we can pay it whenever. So the financial impact of the town is very minimal, and that's because of the hard work of the staff. And I want to acknowledge them.
Thank you, John.
Thank you.
Thank you, guys.
Good presentation.
Yeah.
Jan? Okay, page 50. Is that
Page 50, yep.
page 50?
So my school board update, the first thing is our senior trip. So it's been planned for the weekend of June 1st and 2nd. They want to go to the Red Jacket Mountain View Resort in North Conway. Their room cost includes their room, dinner Saturday night, breakfast Sunday morning, the water park Saturday afternoon, an escape room, and transportation up and back. Right now, actually, the tentative cost is $150, not the $200, but we just haven't been able to confirm the transportation cost for that. So I gave just a short itinerary. Saturday, we leave Newt, we stop at a escape room. They'll have lunch at Settlers Green, they'll go to a hotel, they have the water park that evening and dinner. Next morning have breakfast, go to Echo Lake State Park. We're still looking at what the entrance fee there would be, and then back to Newt. So, do you have any questions on that trip? All right. Yes, ma'am.
What's the escape room? I may want to go there.
It's team building, so you go in and you have to solve a bunch of clues in order to get out of the room. So they have to work together as a,
All
be
right.
able to do half the
You're
class
not going
at
in
a
with
time,
Peg.
so they would have 2 sessions. I've
Thank
done
you.
them before, they are a lot of fun.
Thank you.
I just have never heard the word escape room.
So is it okay for her to
Yes,
move
please.
forward with that trip?
Bye-bye.
Do you need a motion? I'm happy with
You
it.
guys all said yes, so I think I'm.
Okay.
this
Good
one
enough,
official
yes.
motion. Newsletter, so I attached the newsletter for January, February. Again, some of the good things there, the band and chorus went to the Manchester Monarchs game on February 20th and performed the national anthem, and they got to stay for the majority of the game before they had to come back. And we did have weather that night, so we wanted them to be back before the snow hit here. The PI teacher fundraiser, so I do have that picture at the bottom. So during Newt Week, combination of the sophomore class and the European trip, teachers volunteered to get pied. The students had to pay $3 a ticket, and then everyone who did a ticket got to throw a pie. So that's Mr. Decker first, that's Mr. Dewey second. He had 15 pies.
Yeah, I was going to say it's.
Ms. Tobias and Ms. Costello and Mr. Carlton. So they raised about $150. I challenged them if they got to 300, I would get pied, but they didn't quite get that high. Have to lower the bar next time, I guess. Again, we had our drama production, The Giver and Take 5. Caleb Goff won the speak contest. He's going to the state again on that. And then Thomas Richards won first place locally and third place in the state. for his essay contest.
Nice.
Questions on the newsletter?
Anyway,
All right, just a little bit of a grant update. So again, Ben Carlton had applied for the Guild of New Hampshire Woodworkers for just a few $100s, and they said that they thought they could do better than that, so they came and visited. So they've agreed at this point to do the 3, I don't know if is that Rikon, I'm not a big tool person, but the variable speed mini lathes we're going to get. It's actually going to be 4, not 5 sets of turning tools, but those include PSI long and strong hand tools. It also includes center finding tools, engages, marking tools, aprons and face shields, and then to turn bowls, it has a plate that you screw into the bottom of the bowl. You turn the outside of it, and then a chuck to hollow out the inside of the bowl. So we're getting all of those, and some miscellaneous safety equipment. Ben is going to build the stands for the lathes. The sharpening system, they're not sure yet if they're going to be able to get to us, but the other equipment, we should be getting, hopefully, I think I would say by the end of April. They'll be delivering those. So 1, Ben did a great job of reaching out to them, and then 2, they've been very supportive of the program. They've been through it twice. She came and visited with me this past last week. She's going to have some woodworking experts come in and help him redesign how he's got the room set up, possibly move the venting system outside, so that opens up more space inside his shop as well and keeps more of the sawdust outside. So they're still going to continue to work with him.
That's wonderful.
See, that was some more grants out.
Yep. So these are more opportunities we're offering our students at no additional cost.
To the taxpayers.
That's fantastic. Look at all these things we're offering our students.
The Master Gardeners of UNH approached me about they wanted to start some grants, so they created the Carolyn Passage Memorial School Grant. I worked with them on the process that they could follow for grants, so then they opened it up, and we were their first application. So building a compost site here at the building, at the school, and then using that compost in the greenhouse. So their grants were going to be up to $300 per school. Ours came up to $316. We submitted it, and they'll be making their decision in about a month.
I have a question.
Yes.
The waste products coming out of the kitchen?
Yes, both schools.
Both schools?
Yes. So there's a student who's actually doing an ELO, and she helped to create the plan, and she'll be able to run it in doing the composting, building the bin, setting it up, processing it, and using it again in the greenhouse.
Now, you think you're going to have a surplus of compost?
Are you going to sell it?
I don't know yet. I don't think so. It's going to take a while to break down.
Yeah.
So they've also talked about where it will be located, because we don't want, drainage and all that other things.
Yeah.
So she's worked on the site plan and everything for that.
Okay. We don't have the grant yet.
No,
They've not
so
approved
we've
it.
applied. So
Okay.
that's just, again, when she reached out to me to say, we've never done this before, how do we do it? It was a couple of phone calls, a lot of emails back and forth, how to set it up, where does the check go to, what's the process. When she had it done and she sent it out, then, and I had already given them a heads up, so Ms. Henner and Mr. Carlton put together that grant and submitted it.
So this compost is going to be dry. They're not going to save the liquid.
Correct.
Because there's a program in Maine that's on gardening, and they say sometimes the liquid from the compost is more beneficial than the
I can
compost.
go back to them and ask if
No, that's fine, because I made one.
He just wants some.
Nude high school and compost sales.
if we have extra that we need to divvy out, we'll buy you first.
We'll buy it, yeah.
First taste, Doug.
Okay, go ahead.
I know about that. DHHS, so this year, they were able to get us half of what we had last year, and this was supposed to be the final year of it. They just contacted me recently to say that they think they'll be able to get us this money again next year, so that would be another $50,000 next year.
Now, what grade is that for?
6 through 12.
50,000, you said?
Yep.
6 through 12.
So we had 100,000 2 years ago. It was cut to 50,000 this year. They thought that would be the end of it, but she's found us. She thinks, she hasn't confirmed yet, but another 50,000 for next year.
So what exactly we're going to use that money on?
This year we're using it for social worker, and our after-school program. So hopefully we'll be able to do that again next year.
After school. And that's at the
And our after-school program starts on Monday and runs for 5 weeks.
5 weeks, okay. Huh? Oh, go ahead, I'm sorry.
So those would be more opportunities we're offering our students to help them further their education at no cost to the taxpayers?
That would be correct.
All right, thank you.
Keep it up.
You're really good, Al, with
Thank you for
that.
clarifying, Al.
I think there's a lot that needs to be clarified sometimes, so I'm,
Go ahead.
I'm here
I wish
to...
there was a Facebook Live feed we could do. We just
Yeah,
pushing
right.
this right on the
I
door.
think I'm going to have weekly tea with Mr. Al, where he spilled the truth.
Go ahead,
Can I
Jen.
ask a quick
Yeah.
question? I'm sorry. The after-school programs, is it just one or how many? Because I know there's people that are asking about after-school programs, and I don't
So
know.
what do you mean, just one?
What are the programs, I guess I'm asking?
That's the only after-school program we have, correct. So it runs for 5 weeks. It's on Mondays, Wednesdays, Thursdays.
Is that for extra help?
Yes,
Is
it's
that
for
what it is?
extra help
Okay.
after school.
That's-
Sorry,
Okay,
yes.
thank you.
So we have tutors that are available those 3 days of the week for students to stay after and get additional help and support on.
Mondays, Tuesdays, and Thursdays.
Mondays, Wednesdays,
Wednesdays
and
and
Thursdays.
Thursdays. Thank you.
Starting on, it's from March 18th to April 18th. And we also provide after-school busing, bus transportation to more limited locations. And guidance sent out notification to all the middle school parents, and they're working on notifying high school parents. We focus primarily on middle school, but help high school as well.
I'd be curious what the participation is. See if it's a program.
And
we
then when
can-
I get the numbers, they're due by Friday.
Yeah, good, it should continue. Yeah, go ahead, Jim, sorry.
Title I rollover. So rollover again was money that was not used last year because we didn't have a full-time Title I teacher for 2/3 of the year. It was just approved at 10:20 this morning to spend $67,685. So that will pay for both MES and Newt Summer School, bus transportation, supplies, oversight, and Orton Gillingham. And I'm going to let her speak a little bit to Orton.
We have at least one student who requires Orton Gillingham trained reading program, and Karen Burton, who's our reading specialist, is the one, and she doesn't work over the summer. So we're contracting an Orton Gillingham trained reading tutor for a student.
QL.
So again, that's another almost $68,000, and that will cover all of our work over this.
Excuse me, Jim. Larry, I think Larry has a question.
Thank you. I lose track of the names after a while. We're not involved in a facilitated communication program with that reading, are we?
I'm sorry, facilitated,
Communication?
I don't follow.
Good.
Okay.
Guess not.
And then the CSI program, Comprehensive School Improvement, we've been given another $15,700 that we get to spend, so we're just now putting proposals together for that, and we can apply for, it's statewide, but we're one of 20 schools that can apply for up to $20 million. They have it for the state, so they're not going to give us that much. But Jen has already drafted proposals for about $250,000.
Wow.
So we'll be reviewing that, finalizing those, and putting those grant requests in as well.
What programs would that cover, Jim?
I don't remember everything.
That's okay. We'll ask again later. I'll ask again.
It was to, it was also to support a social worker for the whole year, so if we can put that in with DHHS. It's to hire a math interventionist. It's to replace some of our aging, broken, and missing, like we never got, technology. There's some places who never got any. So it's kind of a gamut of trying to hit all the needs. We went through and we tried to organize our needs into 5 different areas, so then she tried to focus the grant to hit all those 5
Now,
areas.
who didn't get technology?
Well, there's, shop doesn't have a projector, things like that. So a lot of our projectors are dying, and there's some rooms who don't have projectors, so we're trying to get one in every room that works.
Now, what about what happened to the whiteboards?
The whiteboards are still, pretty much every room has one.
They work?
Some they're just using to display on versus the interactive smart boards. So some of the Promethean boards work, some don't.
So if they don't work, can they be
But
fixed?
we're not, that's not my focus right now, is to replace those. I'd rather, we need the
I understand.
projectors before.
Well, if they're not any good, we can't fix them, get rid of them.
So a lot of them are being used as a whiteboard if they don't work.
Okay. Go ahead.
That's it on grants. Any questions on that?
That's awesome.
And I know that Earl shared with you the last school board meeting, but I just wanted to go over some of the things we're doing to address our test scores. So we know that it's a concern for us as well as the community. Staff, students, administration, we're working really hard on finding where our gaps are, what are the issues that we have, and then how do we best address them. So again, we focus that on about 5 different areas. So first, academics. We have skills groups in the middle school, and we sort them based on their assessment scores on the statewide assessment and the NWA that they take 3 times a year. So if we find that their biggest skill gap is in math, we put them in a math skills. If it's in reading, we put them in a reading skills. And then students who are on grade level, we put into a STEM skill group to try to challenge them and move them higher. When our 6th grade, as I told you, got up to 48 students, again, it was very difficult for the teacher to try to teach 24, 25 students, so we broke those into 3 classes now, and they did teach a skills class. We moved the skills class to other teachers, so now they have 16 to 18, a little more manageable. We've been using Alex and IXL and book groups to work on, and again, when I showed you the data last month, we did see where one of the reading comprehension group scores have gone up in the reading since the fall, and one of the math classes, again, who was using Alex scores went up from fall to winter. So we're hoping we continue to see that. And then case managers working closely with their students, and then also doing interim testing. So under the test, providing them with familiarization of the test, because again, the statewide test is not how we teach and how we assess. So giving them interim tests to get used to what the test is like and the tools that they're able to use. Notifying parents, testing is coming up, so get a good night's sleep, have some breakfast, and help to have the students see that it's important to try their best on the test as well.
So we're not teaching to the tests then?
No.
We are not?
No.
Okay.
We're teaching our curriculum. We're trying to familiarize themselves with the tests so that the first time they sit down and open that computer and there's a question and it says use the protractor and they have to know to click here and pull here and all that they know how to use the protractor, how to use the ruler, because it's all computerized. So it's just familiarizing them so they know how to use those things on the test. We feed them breakfast, snacks, or lunch depending when they're testing. We did the awards ceremony with the Chromebooks and the gift cards this year, and I know that excited them. So we're just going to remind them, remember, do your best on this. And again, our quarterly award ceremonies are really focused more on the most improved student and the students who are working the hardest versus this kid got the highest grade in my class. Staff, teachers have been working the last 2 years on linking their curriculum to the national standards to make sure that we have high enough expectations and rigor. And then we also had the teachers take the test. So they actually took the test, saw what the questions were like, so they understand the level that their class should be at when they're doing it. For student support, we got the social worker this year. That's been awesome. Guidance counselors help students resolve issues so they can focus on academics. And the other thing we've been doing this year is a book study on a book called Creating Resilient Learners, Creating Trauma-Sensitive Classrooms. So we've been working on that. So when a student has a meltdown in your class, understanding why they're having that meltdown, what's going on with them, and how do we react as we talk about staying in our frontal brain and not going to our amphibian brain kind of thing, so that we're not reacting from emotion as well. So that's the work we've been doing this year. So we'll see. Testing will be in the next 2 months, and we'll see if it's had any effect on our schools.
Go ahead, Paul.
I'm going to try to be like Al. So what you're saying is that we're really paying attention to low test scores and how we can get those up at no cost of taxpayer.
Correct.
Right.
Those are things we're doing within the building to
Make
try
sure
to
that we understand this.
fill the gaps.
Al?
So I just want to clarify that we're acknowledging and making it an opportunity for all learners to have a chance to win these things and earn these things, not just the top people, but the people that are putting in the effort and the students that are making an effort and making improvement. So all students are being recognized, not just the top.
Correct. And what we found
That's
was,
awesome.
because we gave a Chromebook in 6th and 7th and 8th grade for the highest test score, we also gave a Chromebook 6th, 7th, and 8th grade for the most improved test score. And I believe all 3 of those were special ed students.
Oh, so the 20.6% of our student population that is identified is among some of the top performers or most improved as well.
Most improved.
Correct.
So it seems like across the board, all students are learning and advancing. Interesting.
Peg?
This goes for John, because I don't think you were here either, but it has been proven that peppermint before a test really does something to the mind.
Bring the study in. I want to read that study.
One of my teachers had a bowl of peppermint lifesavers on test day. And you take a
Absolutely. I
lifesaver
mean, we
test.
used to do it we used to do that in Rochester, just hand out peppermints to the kids, and
sorry, it's not in the budget.
I'll donate, okay?
I've heard this a couple of times, especially during the season, the budget season, the voting season, teaching to the test. I saw a speaker, and she gave a great example on what the difference is, and it's very quick. They did a California achievement test to her first graders or kindergarten, and the kids the question was, what is this? And it was a paperclip. The kids did miserably on it. So what did the teachers do the next year to get ready? They had paperclip projects. They had paperclip earrings. Everything paperclip. Then the next year, the question was, what is this? And it was a stapler. So what it was they need to teach the standard. The standard was, for those kids, was to name objects in your classroom or tools of your classroom, not paperclip. So that was what they did. They taught to the test when they saw the paperclip question, and that's what they focused on as opposed to what the standard was. So that's a quick kind of, I thought it was a great way to kind of show the difference in layman's terms.
Mary Ann, yes, something.
Okay, just wanted to, reiterate Peg's comment about peppermint. Our PTA does a fabulous job of providing snacks, granola bar or something in the morning to make sure all kids have breakfast at the elementary school, and provide peppermint, gum, things like that before testing.
Peppermint. Peppermint.
Yeah, I love most improved. The heart surgeon who killed 5 people last year, but only 2 this year. The state, more seriously, the state of Maine provides breakfast for the students of the state at no cost, irrespective of income. Maine is poorer, older, and whiter than we are, and they bring
Larry, when you say whiter, is it the top of the head? White hair?
No, WHITER.
Oh, okay. Oh, okay.
That, which is an artifact of the. Well, you don't want the rest of the story. That one. Nice thing about being older is what I just had to do as current events. You have to learn as history. How do you provide for a longitudinal matrix on your new report card? The reason I ask is I still have my first grade postcard, report card. My mother had it bronze, and it was a 5 by 8 inch piece of paper folded in half, and it was a matrix by subject, by performance, by effort, and deportment. It did 4 quarters. It had a space for parent signatures 4 times, and the action taken at the end of the year. It required the teacher to maintain a master list of each of those report cards. And it was a system that was still in place, and how I loved it when I was teaching in the 60s. What do you have that is a single piece of paper that the parent can hold at the end of the year that is that longitudinal matrix, as opposed to the smudge report card?
Right now, nothing. That's why we're doing this, the report card. So we want to get them into Power School. You guys have it up at Newt, right? It goes to Power School, so they have it up there, so that we're just trying, so now it'll be K-12.
But anyway, if you know the name, Joe Mixblick was the Al Cap character who always came with a rain cloud over his head. Sorry.
And one of the things on those improved is we're trying to motivate the students, because some students, this test doesn't mean anything to them. They don't get a grade for it, so they don't have any investment in it. It's just go, okay, I'm done. So we're trying to motivate them to give their best effort on the test.
Ooh.
We're giving them
You know what, I just thought of another.
on the 26th.
Peg wants to give them a
What I
grade.
heard was they love to come to school, and that's how we motivate the little ones. You know, just making them want to come to school. It was, they came back. The teacher said they came back to school happy and ready to after vacation, and they weren't crabby or anything. So
That's good. I'm just trying to think. One of the other things that we used to do when I was doing testing, math and reading. The teachers, if they made whatever their target score was, they would actually give them maybe a couple points in their grades. Just, we'll add a couple points to your grade. And I gotta tell you, it worked. It did work. So, I'm just trying to, all these little things that help the kids actually think that the test is going to count for something other than.
well, that makes sense. 'Cause in Rochester, remember reading? The kids would not do any homework. They were reading at a 12th grade level, and they failed reading.
Yep.
I mean, it was, it's
Yeah,
not good.
yeah, or bomb the test
On
and
the test, and do that.
yeah. So anyway, just a couple more hints.
All set, Jan?
All set?
All right, thank you.
Thank you, Jan.
Okay, moving on. School board business. I gotta make it clear, swearing in will be Monday, it's coming Monday at 6 p.m. at the town hall for school board members and school clerk and anybody else, 6 o'clock. Okay, school calendar?
Here we go again.
They're starting before Labor Day, Paul.
We discussed
Yeah.
this.
We discussed this
Yep. We don't-
after Labor Day. And I've had three parents. I had three parents approach me. They said, "Do a Survey Monkey poll on what people want. Send it out to everybody. Go onto this thing and see what they get, and see who wants to start now and who wants to start after Labor Day."
Do you think, though, if I can ask real quick,
Go ahead.
if they go after and you have snow days, that you're gonna have to make up days versus going before? What
Well-
are your thoughts on that?
One of the things the parents were saying was, if we have to make up snow days in June, it's still not really summer yet, where Labor Day, you're still in August, and it's still a nice warm day, and you can still take a 6-day vacation. Oh my God, I gotta find childcare for this, and then, they go for 2 days, and then there's a teacher's workshop, and then they're off for 3 days. And then, so I'd rather have my snow days at the end of June than go, I don't know why, and I think there's quite a few towns around us that go the day after Labor Day. I always did. Rochester, Spalding did. The entire time I went to school. Shake your head, Peg.
No, they go before school, or that Monday,
They go.
before Labor Day. But they don't have Friday
Yeah, they do
off.
now. They do now.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, but
All
when
the time
when I
I've
was
been
going
there.
through, they were always.
Okay.
I don't know why we have to split that last week of August up. I still don't get it.
I'm with you.
I think the difference is because, for example, Maine, they can't go like till September 1st, I think, is something like that. And they have 175 student days, 5 teacher days. We have 5 extra days, 180 student days, 5 teacher days. So, we could look at hours. There's different ways we could look at it, but
So
right now we're looking at going to like 20-something. So we would have to either add them at the end of the day or look at hours, and there's a lot of different things. There's not a lot. We kind of looked at it. There were a couple of things I just said that it was kind of like my idea for the 2 weeks at Christmas, and I'll just tell you why. I think part of it is we have a lot of families that, and we're not a lot of income, but we have people that have families as far away as Europe. So it really would help them with the traveling. One of the ideas that and I will talk to Nancy and to Peg about this to get all this going. One of the things we'd like to do, because there will be kids that will not come back,
will not be going away, and we'll be around town on the 2nd and 3rd. On the Friday, we'd like to do a luncheon, a New Year luncheon for those kids, and have 68 hours of hunger, have the bags and all that. So it's not going to be like a complete shutdown with the 2 weeks. We want to do something for those kids. So we could put the days back there, or because I know
It's a multitude of things,
right?
Right, it's a multitude of things. I mean, it's two. Right now, this calendar says if there's no snow days, we'll get out the 17th of June. It's 2 days. We'd get out the 19th of June. You know, I mean, yes, we had a lot of snow days, a lot of 2-hour delays. I mean, it could be. It's. I know what Maine does. I mean, New Jersey, they do 1 week in March. They don't do a February and an April.
Right.
So I mean, if we're gonna. Every year I bring this up. I don't know if it's just worth wrecking. I should say it's wrecking the last week of summer.
Mm-hmm.
It is.
When we could just wait 2 more days and start it the Tuesday after Labor Day.
And trying to get childcare for just 2 days on that 1 week.
Beach camp is over, you know,
Yep.
and they can take, okay, beach camp's all done, that ends the week before. We can go 1 last week of vacation before, whatever. I just don't understand why it's so adamant with these 2 days have to go before the holiday.
Good, Mary.
I know one of the things when we always look at the calendar is we've got to check with the area schools too, because when you have your vocational programs and you're sending your high school and kids out, then if we're not matched up with them, then they either lose 2 weeks because we are on vacation, they're not, or they are and we're not. That, you know, some of that education really impacts the kids. So when, you know, all the time, every year when we're looking at the calendar, we always have to look at those big schools that we send our kids to those vocational programs, because we don't want them hurt by the differences in our calendar versus another district's calendar too. So I think, although I love, you know, some of the suggestions and stuff like that, you know,
I guess if it was a week, I'd say, okay,
Right.
I get it. But it's 2 days, and they come home after the Tuesday, yeah, we didn't really do much. We got oriented to what our teachers are, and then we did this, and then we went home for 3 days.
Yeah,
If it was productive days, you know, the teachers do some things too. But I mean, like I said, more and more parents, they see the 6 that watch this, come up and say, look, next year try harder, because we really agree that starting after Labor Day is a better choice.
Maybe John. Peg, then John.
Peg and then John?
Yeah, Peg, then John.
Okay, one of the things, if teachers came back on Monday, whatever the date is, it still is in August, and kids actually came on Tuesday, Friday was not a holiday, the kids would have 4 days. I mean, I guess I personally have never understood having Friday off.
It's in the CBA.
Pardon?
no, it's not
It's-
necessarily, I can tell you, it's not definite. We can't start until before August 25th. So
Right.
having
So
that
you
Friday
mean the
off,
Friday
that
off.
Friday off traditionally started when we did move to before Labor Day. That at that point, when they decided to move the calendar to before Labor Day, that's when the August 25th went into place, and the Friday off before Labor Day, because a lot of teachers ended up getting burned with their vacation time, and they had money that they had, you know, put aside and had plans for that week. So when we have been working on the calendar since then, it's kind of become not official in the CBA, but except for the 25th. But that Friday
But it's in
off-
there.
the
Yeah, no, I
Friday off is
remember
not.
that.
It's in there. So.
Okay,
But
John?
this is the,
I know that Friday's
John has,
not.
yeah, John.
Did you see it?
I just want to, I have a clarifying question. So when you say after Labor Day, is that you're not talking the teachers? So the teachers would come.
So, like, for instance, move the teachers' workshop days to the 2 days that the students would be there, and then start the students on the Tuesday after Labor Day. Just, I mean, and Mary Ann just said it, when we moved the calendar back into August, so apparently before that, it was after Labor Day. So, I mean, it was there at one point. So I mean, I guess I say it keeps going back to 2 days, and there's nothing accomplished by the students. When I say, what'd you guys, because I've been asking, and my oldest graduated last year, what did you do Wednesday and Thursday? Not really a whole heck of a lot of anything. You know, it's just, I don't know.
Jan?
Would you prefer to put it the 2nd and 3rd of January, or put it the 18th and 19th of June? Actually, yeah, 18th.
You're asking
Well-
Paul or anybody?
Anybody.
2nd and 3rd of January. Because there's, I don't know, I just feel like our summers in New Hampshire are precious.
Yes.
Very, very precious. And,
2nd, 3rd of January, I like it.
yeah. So that if I had to choose, that's what I would choose. Okay.
You're going to be beneficial to the board. See? I told you, Doug. No offense.
A parent.
He prepped. He was like, if the day comes up.
Yeah, I did.
Al?
When I was working as a paraprofessional or ABA tutor in one of my other roles, support staff does not get paid for vacations. So when you look at a 2-week vacation or you look at 2 weeks back to back, like this proposed Christmas break, that is a 2-week pay scale that they now have to budget 1 week off of. So my opinion would be to put it on the 2nd and 3rd and give them at least 2 days of that week and pay and help them budget their lives a little bit easier. Snow days is all of a sudden an unpaid day that you don't know about. Budgeting on a support staff paycheck like that is very difficult. So when you put a solid 2 weeks in there, that's now an entire month they have to budget on a half a month's pay.
There's no reason we as a board can't pay that staff at 26 weeks.
Yeah, I was gonna say, that's,
Well, the
should be an
hourly
option.
workers,
We've done it before.
It
Did
was,
before.
when I first started working at Newt, and
hasn't.
I had the same
No, it
paycheck
hasn't.
every
I was
time,
just looking at
the concern came in was when people were taking more time off, like if they were sick more than the allotted sick days. So that's when the move changed, that I remember when I worked there.
Go ahead.
I was just adding too, as a parent, a home with 2 working parents in it. 2nd and 3rd is when you go back to work anyway. I mean, we're back in Milton by January 2nd. whether
So I
kids
know,
go to
yeah.
school or not.
I know at work, where I work at the shipyard, we have, just because we have to take the time off for curtailment days, we are off from the 25th through the 1st.
Yeah.
You know, we go to work the 22nd, 23rd, whatever, the 23rd, 20. I don't know. I guess is this the first time 2 weeks has been on here?
Yeah.
2 whole
I've
weeks
never
like that?
seen
Where the dates fall.
No, because of the way the dates fall.
Right.
Yeah,
So if we do
it's
this,
the same argument, like you said at the
Right.
beginning, it's the 2 days, they're gonna come back for the 2 days.
so if we did the 2nd and 3rd, that would
We'd
make
rather
up
do
for
it in the
it.
cold.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think that's it.
Go ahead.
I'd rather come back in the cold.
So I guess my question is, if you don't need to vote on it tonight, if we could take the recommendations back, because I think that we might want to look at that Friday before for the teachers. Like, would they rather, since they're going to have more time in the summer now, do they want more time that week and come back later in the week and just have Thursday, Friday?
Just jog it over to, right.
Yeah.
And then put it back on there. But and then since we're going to change things around and we're starting later, we might want to, like Marianne said, check to other schools and bring it to you for a vote the next meeting.
It'll be fine for CTE.
CTE, yeah.
We can't start, we're starting our scheduling, and she can't do a thing in paraschool until she puts the
Okay.
first day of school in. So she's dying, I can tell you.
Well, I mean,
She's
first day
dying.
of school, then we could, I mean, if we want to vote on the first day of school.
Right, could we at least agree that the 3rd is the first day of school? The teacher days?
The 3rd of September?
Yes.
Make a motion.
So moved.
I was gonna say, what's holding you up, buddy?
Well, we have to, Linda, we have to get
Took me
approval
5
from
years.
the teachers.
Well, the teachers could start either on the 28th, or the 28th, 29th, or they could go the 29th, 30th.
Marianne?
Either
We don't
way.
have to have, in our contract, it says that we have just input. We don't make the decision on the calendar. We provide our input from our teachers. And like John said, if you're gonna give the teachers the availability of deciding what days during that week before, if you're starting after Labor Day, whether we wanna do Wednesday, Thursday and have a 4-day week, or whether, that's nice to allow us to have that input. But it's your decision. We just put input. So if you decide to have the calendar start after Labor Day, that's up to you.
But we would like your opinion because it affects you. But I didn't realize it was that way because I thought we were waiting for your input. I'm glad to see it tonight because I was asking about if it was going to be taken care of tonight, but it may not be now.
Right, no, I mean, our input is, it's nice to put, and I know I talked to John about some of the days and things like that. We also were waiting for the vote, because in our CBA, we had additional professional development days that would have had to be put into this calendar.
Yes, you're right.
But because that didn't come true, that just kind of went out. So that's why it was waiting to see what was happening to give
All right.
our, you know, kind of give our opinion.
Yeah, so in lieu of all that's been discussed, Paul finally gets his wish after 5 years.
Well, I
I'm
made a
seconding,
motion. I
I'm
haven't
seconding the
seconded
motion,
it
I'm
yet.
seconding the motion that would begin on the 3rd
On the 3rd.
Of September?
of September. As far as what the
October?
teachers decide,
And then,
They have-
then,
that's
then the
different.
teachers will talk with the
Fill in the blanks.
administration.
Yes.
And we'll come back with the days that we do the professional development stuff and all that. But
finalize
as
it.
far as it's concerned, the board makes a decision, and what I'm hearing is it's okay with the association to begin school on the 3rd. Am I
No,
right?
mean, we don't have that.
Well, I'm
We
giving,
don't have that authority to dictate that day.
well,
I think,
We
I
do.
think the general.
We get the motion.
okay, all
Right.
right. We know that, I got that. I know you
And I know
seconded
our
it.
staff is split on before and after, just like, you know, there are pros and cons. There's people that have summer jobs that go through Labor Day. And when we have to start earlier, their summer jobs have to end earlier.
So now we start later.
Right, so now it, you know, fits their needs when others,
So have we discussed it enough, everybody? Are we all set?
Yep.
Okay, Melissa?
aye.
Come on. Aye.
Aye.
Okay, we'll go ahead and do
Oh,
that.
Paul,
Look at that.
All right.
he's accomplished.
Only taking you
his
5
wish.
minutes.
Finally got it.
Yeah, moving on, I guess, Jan, this is you?
Graduation date. So, we talked briefly in our leadership team today about the end of the year. And, you know, tentatively looking for June 21st. So last year graduation was June 15th. I'm just looking, your graduation be June 14th, that second Friday. Because parents are already inviting relatives who are trying to schedule airplanes and that sort of thing. So we just need to,
June 14th.
I'm asking, is that what?
It's my birthday, so I'll make a motion.
Well, that reminds me, I'm
Well, you're
sorry.
getting everything.
Don't.
I know.
Sound like my wife. Do I have a second?
I'll second the 14th on Paul's birthday. You just
We'll
have to
a
be
cookout.
there, though.
Yeah, well,
Aye.
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 Okay, it passes. Okay, I'm gonna, we got this.
Phew.
You know what we might have to do? We might
Today
have
is
to give
Melissa
the day
Brown's
off.
birthday.
Oh, that's right.
Aw.
Happy
Happy
birthday,
birthday,
Melissa.
Thank you.
Yeah. I had to do that, I'm sorry.
I did have a cake, and then the
Laura
judge,
was
the
here,
judge
she
came in and
brought
took
one.
part of it.
Hey.
Okay.
Anything, okay. So, we'll get that back with your approval. Okay, I watch you, yeah,
Thank you for all your help and your assistance.
everybody. Okay, I think we're bringing this one back for second reading. IHCD, LEB, advanced coursework and advanced placement courses.
Oh, yes.
Jan?
I only see one typo and I'd hate to send, can you fix that without having to send it back?
Well,
Yes.
Typos you can.
Yes.
8, the second line, security shouldn't be capitalized.
Uh,
And actually, I guess 3, the second line shouldn't be.
What? Wait a minute.
Come on, Peg, you're slipping, can you catch
Oh,
it?
down here.
No, I got one, but where's?
Security.
The second line
Okay.
should
Second
be.
line,
Security, yep.
It's just finishing
Oh,
the sentence.
okay.
but because
Yep.
it's
And
the
the
first
third?
word, it just capitalized it,
Yep.
so.
What'd you
But
say?
then 3 also, with program development.
Established.
Established,
But
yeah,
that-
it's
Is
just,
that its own line though? Should that be number 4?
No.
No.
it's
No.
period After the development.
no, but it depends on when you're typing it,
Yeah,
what
so E
happens,
should
and
be
it'll
small.
capitalize.
The
Yep.
second line of 3, the E should not be capitalized. That was all, otherwise I
Peg?
would have
I know you're
Okay,
jumping
now,
the gun.
What am I at?
the first paragraph,
Three.
the second line, it should be school capitalized district. And I don't know if we wanna do admin and guidance counselors, should they be capitalized? Yeah, all right.
No.
So school district, definitely.
We can make a motion with changes.
Yeah, I have no problem with that.
I'll make a motion to accept it with changes. and
I'll second that.
capitalization.
No, we have 3 changes or 4?
Three.
One,
Three.
two,
The E, the S, and the D.
And the D.
Okay, I'll take care of that tomorrow if
Oh,
anybody
good,
wants.
thank you.
Okay,
But in case people don't understand what this is because we had a lot of comments about not having advanced cases
right.
in classes for our students. We do. We offer free classes, even if it's not in our district, to students to go and take advanced classes or classes that we cannot offer here. So we are just approving that policy, and we do offer those.
Really?
Really? So
I
based
didn't
on that,
think we did on Facebook. They said we didn't.
apparently.
Nobody
yet.
Yeah,
Just saying.
okay, so
Who seconded it?
You did. Peg did.
Who said it?
He
I did.
Okay.
you second. So
I guess I seconded.
What's in the cup?
Paul?
I know.
Aye.
Aye.
Okay, so it passes. All right. Okay, we're out. We're gonna make sure I've got my notes here. Oh, old business.
What about this one?
What's that one?
Board member conflict of interest?
I don't have that one.
Oh, that was supposed to be just filed away.
Oh, okay.
Okay.
I didn't get that one.
Okay, so this is supposed to be put, okay.
We don't want you to read
It was in with the
No.
packet, so I wasn't sure.
If you give me one.
Good night, John.
Good night.
Old business?
Oh, well, no, this is, we do it every year under old business.
Oh, yeah.
For committees,
Oh.
okay, you all get a copy?
No.
Yeah, I gave it to you.
You did.
I did.
Oh, here it is.
Yeah,
Okay.
okay. Think about what job you'd like to do, and we'll deal with it on the 27th.
Okay.
Okay, all right. Gotta get that off my list.
Okay.
It's gonna be easy.
Okay, all right.
Same thing we do.
Okay.
We're good at what we do. Let's keep those and then we can train them.
We'll do this
The
one.
ones that Laura did.
Okay, I just,
The leftover, Sonny, sorry.
this is on new business, and I wanna, the recount on the special ed money was real close. I think the difference was 3 votes.
3 votes,
Does
yes.
the board wanna do a recount?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay, now what's gotta happen, we have to have a moderator there and pay him. So what's gotta be done, the town thinks they've got a recount. So we all can do it at once and only pay the moderator from one of us. How much? How much? $1?
$10.
No, that's to do the recount.
Oh,
I don't think we do that.
I
for
don't
that.
know how much we can.
So we'll have to get back to everybody when we'd be doing that recount.
Okay.
And that would be just for the special ed.
Right, yeah,
Do
that
we
was.
have to vote on that?
Well, I'll take
I'm just asking.
I'll take a motion.
Take a motion to make a recount on the special
I'll
ed.
second that.
Okay, okay, all right. Melissa?
Aye.
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 So it's done. So we're going to be doing a recount. We'll coordinate it
You do
with
policy.
the
You do
town.
policy with me.
3
Okay, make
points.
sure I get my notes here. All right, moving on, this is all business. Committee reports, Paul?
Yep, so we had the facilities committee today at 5:30. Couple things discussed is the chimney at Newt is gonna be fixed over April vacation. They're gonna be taking care of that. We got the report back on lead in the water in the school.
Be very
Yeah,
clear.
we are gonna post it on the website. The maximum you can have is 0.015 per liter, milligrams per liter. We have one faucet that is it's at the nurse's it's in the nurse's office. We have 2 that are 0.007 and 2 that is 0.010. So one of the things we were told by the state, which can cure that, is actually replacing the faucets themselves. They are all old faucets. If anything in the faucets made, who knows? So we're gonna. I was bringing to you, so if we can get a motion to replace the 6 faucets. We will get a 50% discount if we if we spend over $500. We get a 50% discount through the state, correct, for the lead abatement? I think is what it was.
Yeah, that's what they're saying, as long as
Yes.
500.
So,
Material.
and this is, I mean, the one of them's in the kitchen. Actually, 2 of them in the kitchen. So the kitchen faucets are over $100 each. We're going to replace 6 faucets. So it's going to go over 500. So we'll get a discount. So we
Great.
want to get that. What Bob recommends we highly get that moving, and we are going to put this on the website if we can. I don't know who does that, but let the public know what everything else is less than 0.005, untraceable. So let's fix these easy
You want
ones.
me to do that tomorrow when I pass in that policy?
Yes, please.
I can, I'll take
Okay.
care of it.
All right, I'll make a motion that we replace the faucets.
How many?
6.
Do I have a second?
Second.
Peg?
Aye.
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 So it's good.
Nothing but victories tonight.
All set, Bob?
That is all we had for that. We had the discussion come in, as you know, about the phones a little more too, so that's still out in the 911, so still working on that. That's it.
Okay. Anything else? Just make sure I haven't got anything else for you. No, Bob, you got Paul and Bob did that. Okay, that's done. This. Okay. All right. Public comments. We're at that point again.
Good.
Oh my gosh. Come on, people.
I'm waiting.
I'm not doing that good a job, am I? Okay, I need a motion to go into non-public.
Make a motion to go to non-public.
I'll second it.
Okay, that'll be under RSA 91A, 32A, B, and C.
Aye.
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 8.